Hi, good evening, everyone. This is Friday, April 17, 2026. With the number of Bokøharam members that they released, that they said they graduated from the radicalization school, the total number of the Bokøharam members that the federal government of Nigeria have released into the society are now 5,822. 5,822. 5,822 Bokøharam fighters. They said they are repentant Bokøharam members. So this is not in only Tinubu's administration. Remember that Operation Safe Corridor started doing this by the order of then President Muhammadu Buhari, who in his coalition to defeat Jonathan with this current President Tinubu imported terrorists into the country, and the coalition admitted that they did. Now, I was watching Arise News. I don't know why the interview of Maxwell Okpara is not trending on Arise News. You know, Maxwell Okpara said that he's going to approach Federal High Court next week to challenge Tinubu's administration to stop the injection of Bokøharam terrorists into the society. This is very important because, you know, I used to say this, even though you can't do anything, speak, talk. Because if we all keep quiet, it means that we have accepted or we are in support that these people should be injecting jihadists into the society. They are doing nothing but putting back this Bokøharam. They have undergone training in the bush into the society. They will now go and they will give informant. They will become informant and give information to the people in the bush. They will do all sort of things. They will do attacks. So many things happen. You understand? So all these things doesn't make any reasonable person feel normal. And just imagine when this thing is going on, you see people quarreling, distraction here and there. And when you look at the caliber of people who are trying to distract Nigerians, you see that these people are very influential persons. And you think it's ordinary. It's not ordinary. Anytime that there are killings, or anytime that Tinubu government mess up, there is something they want to cover, you will see distraction. It's not today. It started before. So all these things are distractions. Now, I really want to, let you understand why Nnamdi Kanu, that the federal government called terrorist, was put to, they jail him indefinitely. That is life imprisonment. And Bokøharam members are being integrated into the society. I will let you know at the end of this video. But if you have not seen this video, the interview from Maxwell Okpara, take a listen.
God keeping us alive. By next week, I shall be approaching a federal high court to stop this madness. We can't continue like this. In the first instance, you talked about United Nations resolution. That was a grant or a purported legal framework upon which the army is committing this illegality. In the first instance, we have a law under our criminal jurisprudence. We have the Constitution, we have Administration of Criminal Justice Act, and some other various laws. Now, once a crime is committed, our laws are there. Once you are investigated, you'll be charged to court. Once you are charged to court, the only role the federal government have to do is to, through the Attorney General, to discontinue the matter. Either the State Attorney General or the Federal Attorney General, whichever the person that is prosecuting that offense. Once the person has been faced the trial and convicted, the only option for the person is to grant the person amnesty, that's presidential pardon. When the person met the necessary criteria. Now, the representative of Chief of Army Staff during the function said that this thing is not amnesty. Now we ask, what is that? I have a client that mistakenly murdered somebody through a fight. But that young woman has spent over 25 years, as I speak to you now, at Suleja prison. And this somebody, a particular the same citizen, sacked an entire community in the name of terrorism. The army, our gallant soldiers, risked their life. Some of them even lost their life. Apprehend the terrorism suspect. Hand it over to the authority for prosecution. Then after 6 months, They told us that they have been repented, and there have been a trend that they are going to now integrate into the society. And the representative of Chief of Army Staff was begging the community to accept them back. Now I ask him question again. Which community? The community that is no longer in existence. Now, who are those that receive them? The people that are already in the IDP camp. So this thing must stop. This is, to me, this is an epitome of fraud. Now, I'm also inviting EFCC to check how much that was spent in carrying out this funny process. Now, how many terrorist suspects do we have in the whole federation? How many are in Abuja? How many are in DSSS? Do you apply this to all of them? Now, the same Chief of Army Staff was telling us that most of them were coerced into the crime. Yes, of course. Once an adult is coerced into the crime, or you are convinced into the crime, once a crime is committed, it has been committed. When do you now how do you now want to convince us that coercing somebody into a crime has become a defense? In a crime of this nature, we must be serious. So that's why I told you that, I started by telling you that we are going to approach I'm going to approach federal court by next week to stop this particular madness. It must stop.
I'm sure you recognize and understand that in terms of a crime, terrorism is quite complex. It's not as straightforward as your regular crimes. So let me take two statements from the United Nations, and I'd like to get your thoughts on this. The United Nations says focusing only on prosecuting and imprisoning suspected terrorists may be insufficient to prevent people who have committed terrorist acts from doing so again following their release. Where there are large numbers of terrorism suspects, there is a risk that criminal justice systems can become overwhelmed. Can Nigeria's criminal justice system sufficiently accommodate the number of terrorists that we have? And also the point around the low-risk terrorists. These are terrorists. We saw earlier this week a 15-year-old, minors, some women who were abducted. Some of these people were kidnapped and radicalized. Would you still take the same position in view of these people? Not the ones, because don't forget there are persecutions as well. We talked about the persecutions a few weeks back. About 500 of them were in court. 345 of them were sentenced. So that's what we're looking at, so that there's a context to this. What's your take on that?
Okay, Madam Ayo, don't mix this up. Once a minor commits a crime, no matter the level of that crime, you try the minor under juvenile law. That one is a separate ballgame altogether. Now, you are talking about United Nations resolution. United Nations resolution is not automatic. This is a resolution. It's advisory. It is now left for each sovereign state to look at your own peculiar laws, look at your own peculiar circumstances before you now apply it. Now, one, you should check whether that resolution is even in conflict with your own law. If it is in conflict with your own law, it cannot be applied. That one is one. Then two, if you must apply it, there must be amendment, legislative amendment on that particular issue. That one is also on that. Then two, you should also check the level of crime. Madam Ayo, last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, how many generals were killed? Yesterday, how many persons were adopted in Benue by all these terrorists? And instead of you to look for a way to address it, you are busy reintegrating people into the system. I'm assuring you they are creating more harm than good, because those people, okay, Madam, have you think about that boy that lost the father and the mother? That man that lost the entire family. And you are now reintegrating the person in the same community, and you want the person to be watching the person. They are creating, this thing is creating more harm than good, and we should stop it. In the first instance, United Nations brought it when the issue of terrorism in a particular nation has come down. Now, the people in the IDP campus have left IDP camp to the various communities. You can now think about those who committed the act. The victims of this terrorist act, they are still in the IDP camp. And instead of you to think about how to rehabilitate them, Instead of you to think about how to make their welfare there, and you are using our hard-earned money to say that you are rehabilitating a criminal under 6 months. It will not stand. We will protest against it.
Able to absorb these people, because don't forget that part of this solution is because of the overwhelming nature of the terrorists. You know, some of these, at least low-risk terrorists, the minors, the younger ones. Can our current justice system accommodate them as correctional services? Do we have enough facilities for them?
We are still saying the same thing. The law that established correctional center made provision for all this. Once we are convicted and sentenced, and while you are serving your prison term, there are some skills you are expected to learn. And when you are the prison officials are the people that will say that this person has repented, let the president consider him so that you go back to the society. It takes a process, and you must serve that punishment to an extent. Are you seeing the face of these criminals? These alleged criminals. Look at their face. Under 6 months, somebody that wiped the entire community, and he was arrested, and these people did not submit themselves. In the university, before the university will consider you must submit yourself. These people were arrested.
You know, just as a point of correction, the army and the spokespeople for the Operation Safe Corridor had said that this group, the group that is considered for, you know, these programs, is not the group that commits mass atrocities. They say that they are the ones who are maybe abducted and forced into indoctrination. Just as a matter of clarity, because you said these people, you know, the faces of these people, they've killed so many people. Just point of correction. They, according to them, I'm not holding brief for them, but their statement says that they specifically target those who are, in essence, victims of circumstance. But still speaking on the point of victims of circumstance, amidst this group, there were 8 foreigners, 1 from Burkina Faso, 1 from Cameroon, 2 from Chad, 2 from Niger Republic. I'd just love to get your opinion on that. Should we be rehabilitating foreign nationals? Should we be deporting them? Some would argue that if we deport them, they'll only go back and reintegrate and reinforce themselves with their terrorist cells and maybe give them information and, you know, what should we be doing with the foreigners that are caught? What program is available to them?
No, Vimbai, I disagree with you. We are creating a very wrong precedent in this country. Do you know what you are doing? You are now making that as a defense. When you arrest a terrorist or an armed robber,
it's not my defense.
They will just tell you that I was coerced into it.
It's not my defense, sir. I'm just reiterating their position. Yes.
No, yes. I'm not referring to you. I'm referring to the representative of Chief of Army Staff, who said that most of them were coerced into it. So, in other words, that was the ground upon which you consider them. So, in other words, you are also let other people go and commit crime. Immediately they arrest you, tell them that you are coerced into the crime. And I'm telling you that when they force you into the crime, or they convince you into the crime, or they pay you money to join into the crime, once you are an adult and you commit a crime, that should not be a defense. We should get it right. I am telling you, saying it in the national television, this thing is an epitome of fraud. Because the money used to rehabilitate these people, go to IDP camp. I was in IDP camp during Easter when I went to visit them. Go and see the victims of this terrorism. We can't allow it to stand. EFCC should investigate them. Now, after this one, now in the next 6 months, they will get another budget. They will now get another few of them. They will say that, this is an epitome of fraud.
So what...
Dr. Okpara, just a clarification. You kept referring to Chief of Army Staff. That program, Operation Safe Corridor, is under the Defense Headquarters.
Chief of Defense Staff?
Yeah. defense headquarters.
Chief of Defense
So
Staff.
it was General Oluyede,
Yes.
who was making the point about
Yes, thank you.
winning these people
And where guys, the
from
Chief
their
of Defense
ideology.
Staff, please.
Chief of
Yes,
Defense Staff, Defense Headquarters, not Army.
Yes.
They have enough on their plates
And
to
where
worry,
guys,
to worry about. But what do you think about this whole idea? You are very clear about rehabilitation, but you know the basic philosophy by the United Nations in those resolutions that I mentioned earlier is that even terrorists under their counter-terrorism resolutions can still be rehabilitated. But you are saying that in Nigeria, it doesn't make sense. That prosecution should come first under PRR, which is also a United Nations program. But I said earlier on that does Nigeria even have the capacity to follow the basic protocols before unleashing these persons onto society? Is there something that could be done differently?
Yes. Dr. But we are saying something. United Nations resolution is not binding on every country.
Section 9.
Yes.
You have
So
domestic
when you have the resolution, you now look at your own circumstances. You look at your own law. Can I apply it? This is not the only resolution of United Nations, for goodness sake. Then when you check, this is not something that we can apply now. The issue of terrorism is on a high side. As I'm talking to you, many people were killed 3 days ago. You don't do the right thing on the wrong time, for goodness sake. What we are saying is that you cannot apply this thing. Okay, now I challenge the representative of the Chief of Defense Staff. Yesterday, when you are talking about this thing is not amnesty, this is an art trying to reduce terrorism. I want to challenge you. Since you apply this particular procedure in Nigeria, tell us the rate of crime when you, the rate of the terrorism when you started it, and the rate of terrorism now. Now you now discover that this thing now is an epitome. This is a means upon which the government are using to encourage people to go into terrorism. Because if you watch the time you started this during Babangida Buhari's regime, the thing increased. People were going into terrorism, thinking that this is the means of the way to go about it. And to worsen the situation, our leaders lack the political will to deal with the issue. Because when you have the somebody who committed a terrorism offense, what stopped you from following it the way you did that of Nnamdi Kanu? Because that of Nnamdi Kanu, federal government released 4 SN with team of lawyers, and they were having the trial every day. Within the space of 2 months, they have concluded the trial, convict and sentence him. Now, what happened for this particular people that wipe entire community, send people to IDP camp, made Nigeria to be number 4 now in terrorism nation, and you say that they have been rehabilitated? It can't stand.
Thank you very much, Dr. Maxwell Okpara. Thank you for your time with us this morning. Very divisive debate. I know a number of people have different sides on different sides of the divide, but it's important that the Defense Headquarters provides Nigerians with as much information as possible so that they're able to set the record straight. But
now, when you look at this video, Nnamdi Kanu and these people, I know that there is nothing you will use to compare both of them, but there is a reason why I want to make this analysis. You see, I know the link. I have a concrete, should I call it evidence or information? I have a concrete information how some Southeast governors were buying Igbo. You know Igbo now, marijuana, okay? They were buying all these hard drugs for people they call the ESN, the IPOB. The insecurity in the Southeast was, and is still, if it is still there, but it's not like before, it's a self-made insecurity. It was made by the politicians. A lot of people you see, the hitmen, that they say they are ESN, all this, they know where they are, but they can't arise them. Why? Because they are the willing tools. The government are using them to do what they are doing. And you see, if at all, these people are sincere with their radicalization, there is no IPOB. The real members of IPOB who are not violent are being arrested and put into detention. None of them supposed to be in detention. And you want me to come out to tell you that Nigeria is going to work like this? It will not work. It will not work. All people are doing, what people are just doing today is they are trying a way to manage it until the final collapse. That people are not going to die. because Nigeria is not working. People must leave. So people are just trying a way to manage to survive in anticipation of what the destiny holds for them. This is unacceptable.